Today, we're in Utah, visiting Kai from Homie Window Cleaning.
If Leslie's giving us a problem though, call her, text her, blow up her phone and get a yes or no. I don't want to worry about her anymore.
Kai is 19 years old. He is shooting for $500,000 in revenue this year.
My goal is in 5 years to sell it.
But cash is low, and he doesn't know his numbers. Why don't we have any revenue reports?
I didn't pull it from my last software. Super big mistake.
Kai had 6 employees last year, but only one lasted 5 months, and he's gonna leave in 3 days. Churn was a big problem with your team last year.
I was hiring a lot of older guys. It's harder for them to listen and work for a 19-year-old. Our training wasn't very good.
I've been here for about 1.5, 2 weeks. We offer at least 8 to 10 different services. I'm just in the middle of learning them all.
That stinks if it takes me 2 months to train them on all these services.
Yeah.
Also, very few of his customers come back after their first service.
Our service when we were working together wasn't the best. We weren't getting many repeat clients. We just didn't seem very legit.
This is the Business Turnaround Show. My name is Mike Andes. I'm the founder of Augusta Lawn Care, where we have over 175 locations around the world. And I travel the country fixing struggling businesses. Our goal is to give Kai a strategy to turn around the company in the next 6 weeks and take control of his business. I don't have any sort of P&L, I don't have a balance sheet. And so we're kind of flying blind. We're also just taking at his word, the fact that he did $250,000 last year. So it just makes it more difficult to actually diagnose the problems because I can't see how much is he spending on labor, how much is he spending on marketing. There's so many holes in his story. I just don't know yet. What's up, dudes?
How's it going?
What's up, man?
Nice to meet you.
Kai?
Yeah, I'm Kai. I'm the owner of Homie Window Cleaning. My passion isn't cleaning windows. I do love the managerial side of it, the sales side of it, and just kind of the problem solving mainly is what I love.
Good stuff. And Marlon?
Yeah.
Good to meet you, and I'm Mike.
My name is Marlon Jones. I've been here for about 1.5, 2 weeks.
This is our van,
Nice.
and this is all the stuff that we keep in day to day, I guess.
The pressure washing, do you rent that right now?
That's at the church. We're not pressure washing today. We're just window cleaning.
Got it. Do you own the pressure washer?
Yeah,
Do you
yeah,
rent?
we own it. Yep.
Okay, cool.
We
All right.
got a trailer.
Sweet, dude. Let's
Yeah.
go. And then you just put this out whenever you're out and about.
My goal is in 5 years to sell it. We'll build it up to 1 to 2 million. I've always been super fascinated in real estate and building, and so I want to kind of get into construction and building with that money. I think everything today is pretty straightforward.
It's all just exterior stuff.
Yeah, if Leslie's giving us a problem though, call her, text her, blow up her phone and get a yes or no. If she says no, yeah, I don't want to worry about her anymore.
Yeah.
All right, thanks guys.
Yeah. So what got you into window cleaning?
Social media. I saw
yeah.
on social media some guy just kind of boasting his numbers, and he didn't seem too legit. He was just kind of doing it on his own, and I was like, I think there's a lot of growth in this, and so I started it just to kind of prove the concept with my buddy, us knocking doors.
So was that Max that you started doing it with?
No. It was my other friend, and honestly, our service when we were working together wasn't the best. We weren't getting many repeat clients. I chose to just kind of move a separate way, and then hired a guy off Indeed, and in the beginning, it was my job was to knock doors and fill his schedule. Went pretty well. Some of my buddies wanted to come and work for me, and so we just kind of grew our door-to-door team. I started with my buddy. I saw a TikTok on it, saw some guys making a lot of money, so I thought I'd give it a shot. That really motivated me to be I can do this myself.
I assume that most of your equipment you can keep in the van.
We try not to, just because at the spot we've parked, we've gotten gas taken and stuff, so we don't want the van to get broken into.
So you keep the van separate then?
Yes, yeah, it's parked at a church that we clean quarterly. And then in here, we keep all the stuff. I meet the guys here every morning, and we just kind of go over the day. We've got our tanks. I'm actually working on a couple at my house right now.
Let's go. You actually don't need a ton of stuff then.
We're kind of trying to add more services, and so with that, we added pressure washing, driveway sealing. We need more equipment for that, but we don't need a lot of stuff. Our shop is definitely not too big right now. Once we get more vans, that's probably when I'm looking to get into more of a shop space.
2 years ago, you were doing basically part-time, right?
2 years ago, it was pretty much me and my buddy. Just I would knock doors, he would clean windows.
Okay.
And then last year is when we really kind of moved into, I guess, a business where I wasn't the one out on the doors. In the very beginning, it was just me and my buddy knocking in the summer, so school wasn't really hard then. But the second year, I kind of saw the potential with it. I luckily actually had all my credits done my junior year, so I just didn't go to school my senior year. I finished up all my credits and graduated early. And then my senior year was when I really started to kind of hire guys on, and yeah, school wasn't an issue then. And then this year, I wanted to move to zero door knocking, just all marketing, all branding and recurring clients. And so that's kind of our goal for this year, is just to start getting established in the market. It's been super awesome being able to bring my friends on to help work with me. We'd all meet at my house, just kind of go over the day, and then just go out and just make a bunch of money together. Having that opportunity for all of us to work together has been super, super awesome. And my parents always have clean windows too, which is pretty cool.
When does it start picking up? Is this the time it's starting to ramp
right
up now?
The winter went pretty long this year. I think 2 weeks ago is when
It's still freezing.
Yeah, Max, like 2 weeks ago we were still wearing jackets, right? Yeah, it was there was still snow on the ground. It just started to pick up, phones being going crazy, and I'm
Cool.
starting to realize that I can't be the only one doing all that stuff.
Yeah,
so.
no, that's good. So then right now it's just the one truck. So if you have like 2 jobs, is all 3 of you going in one truck, or how's that working?
Yeah, so I'm actually not on the job sites anymore. Okay. It's just these guys, and we've got one van. I'm starting to realize that it's probably gonna be more efficient if they start working solo, just because our routes aren't condensed enough, and it's just, we're wasting a lot of time with drive time. Yeah. And so I'm gonna get another truck pretty soon.
How far up do these go? Like 30 feet?
That one goes 40 actually. The shorter one goes 40.
Let's go. We're doing this new thing where we actually give you a road map here.
There we go.
The homie thing is cool.
Yeah.
At first I was like homie, like, oh, like we're homies. And I was like, oh no, I get it. It's a homie feel. I like it a lot. What we'll do is we'll kind of identify in the 4.0 framework some like, here's like some of the problems or opportunities, and then like what do we want to try to do in the next 6 weeks? To summarize the framework, we take liquidity or cash and we go spend it on advertising. And what do? We get more leads. When you get a bunch of leads and you turn them into customers, what do we need? We need more laborers to actually go do the work and a bunch of employees. But once you get 10, 15 employees, what do? You need more leaders. You need management to be able to run the business and continue to grow. But when you get leaders and you get people in overhead and doing office admin and all the rest of it, what does that cause? A liquidity crunch, less profit margins. And this is the cycle that every business goes through to be able to grow. From a liquidity perspective, my big focus is we just need to know our numbers more. We only have his bank statements, so it really doesn't tell me a whole lot. I don't have any sort of P&L, I don't have a balance sheet. Like for all I know, I'm gonna walk in there today and be like, we don't have a leads problem, because he said that he doesn't have a problem getting leads. Why don't we have any revenue reports? Because I just got a bank statement.
Yeah.
It's very hard to come in. So
Yeah.
like, is it just a matter of you haven't had to spend enough time in that software yet?
I think I haven't spent enough time in it, and I didn't pull it from my last software. Super big mistake. I forgot to bring that over.
Like right now, do you have QuickBooks set up? I would really recommend setting it up. Like right now, as you begin to scale past 250, the reason at 250 you've been able to make it work is you still are like so involved. You're producing revenue. You're making sure the jobs are being done right. As you get to 500,000 and you're not in the field, like you got to know where the money's going. Right. And like right now, we don't like if I ask like how much you spent on marketing last month, we don't really know. Right? It was $1,000, right? So like knowing what that was and then, okay, what was the return on that? Like only comes from having a good set of books.
Yeah.
I think whether you just categorize once a week on the weekend in QuickBooks, like all as the transactions come in, I would do QuickBooks ASAP. Okay. Like you gotta know where the money's at. And then if you're in QuickBooks, you might as well just run payroll through there. So from a liquidity perspective, like cash in the bank right now, the problem that I see is like we are low, but you have low expenses. And I know what it's like to be there. You probably live at home still?
Yeah.
Let's go. You don't need a lot of cash, but technically we want 1 month worth of revenue in the bank.
Okay.
So if we could get 20 grand in the bank, that'd be like most ideal.
Yeah.
Just so you can breathe a little bit easier, you have the capital if something goes wrong, you have the money for the second truck. Like right now, we have, what, like 3 or 4 grand in the bank-ish?
Yeah.
So let's just call it like 4K in the bank. That's an opportunity. So like in the 6-week plan, if we could be able to like get that even to 10.
I don't see that being a problem at all.
Because we're going into spring.
Yeah. We're doing like $1,500 to $1,800 in revenue a day right now.
Sweet.
I mean,
and leads are coming in.
Yeah,
like it's
cool.
So let's just try to get it to where it should be. It's like 20 grand a month.
Yeah.
So if we can get to 20 grand, 20K in the bank in the next 6 weeks. When it comes to the liquidity in the 4L framework, we're trying to get at least $20,000 of cash in the business checking account. Now, typically, I like to have at least 1 month of revenue in the bank account. And you're like, well, what about expenses, or what about 1% of payroll? Most business owners, including Kai, don't know their expenses. They don't know a lot about their numbers, but they do know their revenue. And so I try to get at least 1 month of revenue in the bank account for reserves. Right now, if you can get at least 20,000, it'd make me feel a lot better than right now when it only has $3,000 to $4,000 in the bank. That would probably then give us the freedom, like a little more flexibility to go out and get the second truck. Are you financing that, you think, or what are you thinking there? Are you doing truck, van?
I'm gonna get a truck, and I'm thinking of buying it cash. I've got some money saved up that I know I can get back if I buy the truck, so probably just taking a loan from the personal.
Got it, so a personal loan, getting the truck, and it would be a pickup truck then?
Yeah.
And so is that so you can like throw more stuff in there, or you want to stick with the van?
Yeah, it's nicer to pull the trailer because pulling it with the van is a bit sketchy. I think trucks just kind of look cooler. It's just kind of better for pulling a trailer, I guess. When there's a lot of water in there, it gets heavy.
All right, so then
I think having one
liquidity-
truck and one van is probably good.
Okay, so second truck, we're gonna be able to get that. It's very rare that I recommend someone actually go finance a vehicle or get a brand new vehicle and get it leased. Usually I say, hey, go get a cheap used vehicle. But Kai has already proven that he knows how to get customers. He's proven that he knows what the cost per lead is, and I would rather have him spend money on that instead of just going and spending all of his cash on a brand new truck. Anyone can buy the truck. So why dump a bunch of cash into that, then be cash poor going out and getting more customers? Yeah, so second truck in the next 6 weeks. That would then allow us to expand more. Okay, cool,
Yeah.
That's liquidity. Leads on your site, are we going to just actually focus on just windows?
I'm gonna run a pressure washing ad because a lot of companies in Utah do kind of mix pressure washing with window cleaning. And I think that if we can make that blow up, that'd be huge. But I will take off all of our extra little services off of the website because I think that is a bit distracting.
If you're getting a lead from Facebook for $10, that's treasure.
Yeah.
There's nothing else we should be doing but that. Initial thoughts are he like almost every other entry-level home service that requires has a low barrier to entry, I should say, adds way too many services at the beginning. So he's doing pressure washing, house cleaning, gutter cleaning, window cleaning, landscaping, lawn care, Christmas lights. He's just adding a bazillion different services. And so I'm a big fan of having services during his off season, which is still he's having Q4 collapse, but I want him to focus ideally on 2 or 3 services because I can guarantee you in Salt Lake City there is a $1 million window cleaning company, there is a $1 million pressure washing company, there's a $1 million gutter cleaning company. So pick one of them and focus on that. If I had to look at the whole business and we say pressure washing, window cleaning, what's the breakdown of revenue? The last year was $250.
We just added pressure washing this year.
Oh, okay.
We've probably done 5 to 10 jobs. By far, window cleaning. We did gutter cleaning in the fall. We did Christmas lights in the winter. That just absolutely crash and burn. But by far, window cleaning, probably 90% of our revenue.
I mean, I know it was a lot more difficult because you have inventory, you have probably snow around that time of year, right?
We actually got pretty lucky, and it didn't start snowing heavy till December.
Okay.
And so we installed October, November, but we just found that it's so price competitive here. Most of my quotes, I got a quote for $2.50 per foot, and we're trying to charge 10. I wasn't able to build enough value to charge 4 times as much.
Basically, unless it is freezing outside, you can do the windows, right?
Yes, yeah.
But then all your leads come in in the spring rush.
Right, nobody really wants them done in the winter, but what we do is for our quarterly plans, when their winter service comes around, we switch to interior only.
Okay, cool.
And that's kind of my pitch with quarterly. It's we'll do 3 services on the outside when they get dirty. Winter, we'll come in and do inside, that way both sides of the windows are clean.
So why are we adding pressure washing and house washing and the other stuff? Because it sounds like you can do interior still with the window cleaning. My thought is if we just focus on that.
Okay.
Because even when I get to your site, it looks like you do all those services, and I'm okay with adding more services to your existing customers and upselling them.
Okay.
But when it comes to the dilution of your marketing, that's what I am seeing. Even your Facebook ads and stuff. If you're saying, hey, we do pressure washing, we'll do window cleaning, versus just we do window cleaning.
Yeah.
We crush window cleaning. It's in the name of our business, and that's all we do. And then you get way more. Your cost per lead will go way down because people they're a window cleaning business versus they're a handyman service. When I go to your site, I think okay, Homey, they do everything in my home. They'll clean my house, they'll mow the grass, they'll do landscaping. That other services tab there will throw people off. Most customers are only spending a few seconds on your website. So if we don't deliver a very concise and clear message very quickly, we're going to lose out on customers. Right now, when you get to Homey's website, it's a little bit confusing because I got gutter cleaning, landscaping, lawn care, window washing, pressure washing, staining. There's so many services he's trying to pitch. Instead, I just want to be the best window cleaner in this county. This is evidenced by the fact that more than 80% of his revenue is coming from window cleaning. So why are we spending all of our time and energy trying to market these other services? It's diluting our marketing and it's confusing our customers.
Okay.
It makes you feel like you are just, I'll do anything.
Yeah.
And then it's hard to market we are the window cleaning experts. I just think that if it made up 80%, 90% of revenue, I would just let's just focus on that.
Yeah.
Yes, we can do driveway sealing. Yes, we can do pressure washing. But those are gonna add more inventory, more equipment, training more crew members, which is the big problem.
Yeah.
Versus we do one simple service, we wash windows, and we figured out a way to get customers doing that, whether it be knocking on doors or doing ads.
Yeah.
And then we just scale that. Because I don't think you have a seasonality problem. because you can do the windows interior. That's like the kicker. For us, like as soon as it goes cold outside, we don't do anything inside. So we have to do Christmas lights. We have to figure out something else. But like if you can get 1,000 customers on window cleaning, that's an interesting business. It's recurring, it's simple services. As soon as you get into like pressure washing, there's way more liability. Like have you increased your liability insurance for pressure washing yet?
No.
Like as soon as you say the word pressure washing
it,
to an insurance agent, everything goes through the roof.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Like if I'm marketing it all, I won't seem like a pro in any of them.
Once you add another service, let's say you're doing $1 million, and then you're like, okay, I want to add pressure washing. Well, now that next year it becomes $150,000, $200,000 business, and you have one truck set aside just for pressure washing. And then when it comes to training an employee, I train them on pressure washing.
Yeah.
I don't have to train them on 5 different services.
We do pressure washing, the deck washing, concrete ceilings. We'll do screen cleaning and like calcium removal. We'll do all that. I know we offer at least like 8 to 10 different services right now, so I haven't been here too long, so I'm just in the middle of learning them all.
I know the churn was a big problem with your team last year. So like, let's just assume they say 2-3 months on average. That stinks if it takes me 2 months to train them on all of these services.
Yeah.
I could care less if it takes them 2 days to figure out how to wash windows, and then I can be profitable on them for 2 or 3 months. The training on it's way more intense.
It is,
You already started getting on it?
Yeah, I've noticed it's much, much harder. Our systems for window cleaning is like plug the hose in, water starts coming out, and then you scrub the window down. For this, it's like
let's go.
different types of chemicals, different amounts of that chemical for different
amounts
stains.
of pressure, if it's wood, if it's stucco, if it's brick,
Yeah.
the list just goes on. And then like what happens if you mess up the grout?
Exactly.
What happens if you mess up the seal? Like there's a lot of more liability.
Yeah, for sure.
Down the road, not a bad idea to add the services because you can
For right
increase
now,
that.
scale 1.
I just scale 1. You can always add more services and make sense of it because it will add more revenue. Like you will get some pressure washing jobs, you will get some driveway sealing jobs. But like driveway sealing, we can't do but for 6 months of the year. That's just going to cause more seasonality problems. But the window cleaning, we have this unique way of getting inside the house. I think if you've already figured out how to sell 140 contracts recurring, let's just get 1,000. How many people in your database now?
I think 1,000.
Dude, let's go. If I was you, from a leads perspective, windows is my thing. I don't even think you need Christmas lights. I really don't.
Okay.
Like you can do interior, it'll slow down a little bit, but it's not like a huge drop off.
Yeah.
And you can schedule like the 3rd and 4th one to kind of like go into the winter a touch.
The problem with that is our 2 times a year clients and even a lot of our 3 times a year clients, when it comes around to their winter service, they'll be like, can I just push it to the spring? Or they'll be like, can I just get it in the fall? So there's this like December, January, February time where November we were doing exterior, but December, January, February, our only interiors were quarterly, but the interior window cleaning, like we were maybe doing like 1 job a day. It did really slow down because it was just the quarterly people that were like, okay, I'll get that interior one.
Yeah, what I'm trying to prevent is having to buy like Christmas lights, train our guys on Christmas lights, ladders, insurance, like a whole other thing.
Yeah.
My thought is, why not, when we're selling the, like, hey, this is quarterly, it is part of the package.
It's
like
interior
you get
is
3
part of it.
exterior, 1 interior. It's
Gotcha.
not like some of our clients like this, and it's not even optional. Like if I was a customer, it makes total sense that you clean my outside 3 times, and then you also need to make sure the inside looks good.
Yeah.
So like I would just be like, hey, this is our standard package. And even if you created 3 different types of packages, the best being homey, it's like you have house, home, and homey. I don't know.
That's cool.
Like just doing something where it's like, hey, your house, like, or your windows, like it's one-time cleaning, right?
Yeah.
It's annual cleaning. And you could even just pitch it like, hey, we only do 3 different options. We clean your windows once a year, we clean your windows twice a year, or we clean them 4 times a year, one of which is an interior.
Yeah.
And then your homey one is like massive discount.
Gotcha.
Like you just get everyone into that package. It's sold as everyone gets an interior cleaning once a year.
Okay.
So you're at 3 exterior, 1 interior.
Yeah.
That makes like total sense for me as a customer.
Yeah.
And I don't then think that I can move it around on you. Like if you have 1,000 people and by the time you hit the summer where it lulls, you'll have 1,500. You send a text out to every single person, to every single customer on pressure washing, you'll get 30, 40 jobs. And you'll fill up the lull. During the spring rush, all the different services that you offer are gonna come pouring in. And I don't wanna serve people on a first come, first serve basis. I wanna focus on the recurring revenue. So I would encourage Kai to focus on window cleaning only during the spring rush, when all the leads are coming in. And then focus on the one-time jobs when he slows down during the summer or maybe during the off season. I also happen to believe that if you have 1,500 people in your database and you hit the slow season, if you started pitching around Thanksgiving and Christmas and interior cleaning, it would actually do decent.
That's what we would do is we would do free dryer vent cleaning with every interior window cleaning.
That's perfect. So you say, hey, look, coming up for Thanksgiving, you're having your own family around. You want your dryer vents clean and your interior windows cleaned out, and then you fill up your off season with window cleaning. In my opinion, Kai can focus 100% of his marketing dollars and his time and energy on getting more customers for window cleaning. But when it comes to the 2 months during during the summer when things kind of slow down and during the off season, I'm okay with him pitching his existing customers those additional other services. These are cross sells, things like pressure washing, things like gutter clean out. We can do those, but we're not gonna spend money on marketing to those because they don't give us recurring revenue. We're gonna send an email or a text message to our entire database only when we're slow and upsell them because they already know, like, and trust us. What's like the long-term vision of the business? What do you want to do with it? Do you want to scale it and sell it? Do you want to, okay, so you want to scale this and sell it off.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to scale it to probably 1 to 2 million.
Okay, and then you want to sell it.
Yep.
Okay, cool. So then that's where it's like window and recurring revenue is the game.
Yeah.
Because your multiple on pressure washing, like one-time jobs or like even lights, like maybe you get a 1 to 2x multiple on profit. If you get recurring revenue, the same revenue will be at 3 to 4x multiple when it comes to selling.
Okay.
Because if you go to a buyer and say, hey, I have 1,000 window cleaning contracts, and if you buy my business, you have a guaranteed for the next year $850,000 in contract value. That is valuable. It's an annuity, so it's like guaranteed money coming back to me. If you say, hey, I did $2 million last year and it was an all in one-time projects, there's no guarantee that tomorrow they will get any revenue. You can build a $1 to $2 million window cleaning business, and if you can do it all with recurring revenue, you will sell that business. If you do a $1.5, $2 million business that has 8 services and half of it's one-time projects, no one wants to buy the business. I just say lean into it. If the goal is to sell this thing in 5 years, you're not like passionate about cleaning windows, you don't want to do this for the next 20 years, build a recurring business model that someone wants to buy. Because a $1.5 million business that has 8 services requires the owner has to be here. Like they have to be managing, training crews. A business that's $1.5, $2 million of recurring window revenue, someone in New York can buy it, put a GM in place and be like, go.
And it's just that. My thought process was like, in Utah, there's a lot of good window cleaning companies that kind of all do the same thing. And the way of like standing out, I guess, would be like being that one-stop shop. Do you think if there's like a lot of good companies that I can grow in that to like a $1 to $2 million company by doing basically the same thing that they're all doing?
Offering another service doesn't make you any different than anyone else.
Okay.
What makes you different is the delivery, the fact that you have a site that is well performed, you have 100 Google reviews. Like when you answer the phone, you give them a price on the phone. Half of them don't do that.
Yeah.
Like that's the differentiation. So when you're selling a commodity like mowing grass and cleaning windows, the doing of the service is not your differentiator.
Okay.
The delivery of the service of the commodity is what differentiates you. Not like, I just add more services, therefore I'm different. No one cares when you come to buy the business, when they come to buy the business. And if you're trying to optimize this to sell it, the only thing I think about is recurring revenue, simple services, and make this like where a $80,000 per year GM can run the whole thing. If you can't do that, if it requires an entrepreneur to step in, no one wants to buy the business. And if you can sell it to someone who's not an entrepreneur and just has money, they're like, oh, I just want a 20% return on my money. Yes, I will pay $800,000 for this if I can get $100,000 back in cash flow every year. That buyer exists, but it's not gonna be the person that will come here every single day and work 6 days a week.
Right. Ditching pressure washing is gonna be so hard just because like I just spent $8,000 on a trailer.
It kind of boggles my mind that someone would buy a whole bunch of equipment for services that made up less than 10% of their revenue. It's like the classic do more and better before you do new.
I'm not gonna throw it away completely, but like I'll keep on marketing to my recurring client-based pressure washing, but as far as like the website goes and my marketing goes, going hard into window cleaning like makes a lot of sense. In the like 5-6 jobs that we've had, I've almost made the money back on the trailer already, so.
$8,000 for a pressure washer, great, fantastic. Let's just assume we spent $8,000 on marketing. Assuming that he's correct when he says $10 per lead and 30% close ratio, that would mean 8,000 divided by 30 is 240 customers. What would be better for his business? A, have an $8,000 trailer, or B, 240 recurring paying customers in his window service? I happen to believe we'd be able to afford another trailer if we just had the 240 customers. So we literally got the cart before the horse. In this case, we got the trailer before the window customers. Okay, so from a leads perspective, we are going window focus.
Yeah, window focus contracts.
I would honestly, from a leads perspective, even put like wrap, van, and then even the truck that's coming in. The truck that's coming in, are you thinking like $25,000? Like what's the budget on that?
I was thinking of buying just like a used one for like 15.
Yeah, once you wrap the truck, which I would prioritize that. The only numbers I really can see of Kai's business is bank statements. And when I look at those, I can actually see he's spending thousands of dollars on Facebook, Google, and Nextdoor ads. And those are fantastic, they're bringing in leads. However, I don't get any more leads if I stop spending money on those platforms. Whereas if I wrap my trucks, every time I'm driving around town, more leads are coming in. My goal is to get Kai off this constant drip of more Facebook ads, more Google ads, more Nextdoor ads, and instead have his trucks wrapped in a great looking website that brings in leads organically. If you wrap that van, it's sitting in the driveway, and every single customer that you're currently having to do the door hangers on, they're seeing the truck. Like they're seeing it. They are absolutely knowing what's going on. You get the ladders, like it should stick out like a sore thumb. So like the wrap on that, what's that cost? Like 3 grand, 4 grand, you think?
3 grand, yeah.
I think that getting his truck and van wrapped is gonna be a huge win for the business. Many times when it comes to wrapping your trucks, it can be hard to justify the expense and the extra budget. However, we find that many times the activator for when someone has seen you on Facebook, or saw a door hanger, or you knocked on their door, or saw a Facebook ad, they actually call you, and when they call you, they say, we've been seeing your trucks. It's the thing that activates them to actually take action. Focusing on the windows, we're wrapping the van, the truck. Okay, labor. Now the next step of the 4L framework is labor. And right now, he can't keep his employees. He gets plenty of people applying, however, they're not sticking around. From a compensation perspective, what are they getting right now? Like, is it flat? Do they get percentage? What's the breakdown?
So it's partial hourly and then also partial commission on like the revenue that they clean that day.
Okay.
Comes out to about $25 to $35 an hour with like other bonuses that we give. We give bonuses for Google reviews, or we give like commission for upsells at the door.
We try to upsell, we try to do our things for sure. So like if they already ordered a service, but we see like, oh, maybe their driveway looks kind of messed up, it has oil stains or rust stains, we'll try and offer up the services that we already have. So trying to make it better, you know? We can't promise perfection, but we can promise better, you know? So that's what we try to do for sure.
So someone brand new coming in, what's the base pay? Like what's the hourly on for them?
It's not hourly, so it's $10 an hour plus 15% commission.
They're not W-2 employees right now.
No, 1099.
Based on what I know, they are supposed to be W-2s. I feel like doing the 1099 is also a reason why it's hard to keep people, because like they have no security whatsoever. Now you might be wondering, well, should I have a 1099 or should I have a W-2? Here's the really easy answer. You're a W-2 employee if you have a uniform and you're required to show up at a certain time. If you're requiring people to be at a certain place at a certain time and they're wearing your uniform, they're probably a W-2 employee. On the other hand, if someone's allowed to clock in and out whenever they want, if they're able to wear their own uniform and they're much more autonomous with their own truck and own equipment, they're probably a 1099 or a subcontractor. We know we gotta switch eventually to W-2.
Yeah.
I know that's a hard pill to swallow. I know it's a pain in the butt. I just don't want you in 4 years when you want to sell the business for this to be the thing that they come back to, like, oh yeah, you need to convert over and pay all the payroll taxes. Otherwise we won't buy the business because it's too much of a liability for us. It's just too risky. I also think by having W-2, it's not going to increase your pay too much because you already are above base pay. The thing is, what they're going to compare is the base pay. They're not going to understand the 15% commissions. Someone right now, like working at McDonald's, is making what, 18 bucks an hour here, 17?
Yeah.
I would be trying to get my base pay to almost that level. You will like have way better at time of attracting talent.
Yeah.
Because the only people right now that would apply is people who have done Windows and know the whole commission structure.
Yeah.
And they can compare you apples to apples with someone else that's offering 8% commission and you're offering 12%.
Yeah.
But if you're able to say, hey look, I'm gonna offer 17 bucks an hour, you're a W-2 employee, and now you're gonna get 7% commission or whatever that number shakes out to be, that looks really interesting to an employee and an applicant. I think your applicant flow will increase.
Okay.
Has the trouble been the applicant side though, or just keeping them?
Just keeping them. On my Indeed, I'm saying like you're making between $25 and $35 an hour. So like people love that.
Yeah.
And then on the interview, I explain the commission process. Some of them don't get it, most of them do. And the people that do get it, they're super interested in that because they're like, yeah, I've been working an hourly job all my life. They want to get paid what they're worth. Honestly, like the guys who do understand it and do like that, those are the guys that I want to bring on because they're going to be the hard workers.
Right.
I was in the food industry and they would pay me just straight like hourly. And I hated that because I would work harder than a lot of people, but I'd be getting paid the exact same, if not less. I kind of wanted to motivate people to work hard. And I think that the best way for that is like bonuses and then also commission. Once I see that like, they're knocking out, they're working super hard, they're cleaning a bunch of homes, then I'll give them another home and then they get the commission on that. So they're making, up to $35 an hour, which is kind of unheard of in window cleaning.
I'm mostly thinking about the W-2 thing because like the reason you had that churn is ultimately people start to think about like, I'm making 10 bucks an hour.
Okay.
And if they ever see that, even one paycheck where that dives down, immediately they start like, all right, I'm looking for a job.
I gotta look for something, yeah.
I gotta look for something more dependable.
True.
Right? So I would consider, okay, I'm not even gonna put like raise the wage. I'm gonna say like talk to the guys. It's like talk to the current team. Like Max, he's been here for the longest, right?
Yeah.
Like 5-6 months?
4 or 5, yeah.
Basically throughout the off season.
Yes.
Got it. I would probably talk to him and I would just have an honest conversation like, hey, people are leaving. Why would you leave here? And I want to fix that. And is that because of the low base pay? I have a feeling they're gonna say, hey, we love when we make 35.
Right.
But when I make 15, like
it's not worth it.
I'm not budgeting for it, honestly.
Yeah.
And I gotta go look for something I'm making 18 or 20 just to make sure I pay my bills. I'm gonna guess that's what they're gonna say, but I would probably talk to Max about base versus commission. And I would love the commission, don't get me wrong, I'm a big fan. But I think by increasing your base, you're not gonna lose anything, but it'll give a little bit more security to them. If I'm starting to progress in my life, like getting a relationship, kids, etc., like I need the dependability, I need a W-2, I need something to go get a bank loan, I need a W-2 income to just go get rent.
Yeah.
Like your guys cannot go and get rent, like get a good landlord because they don't have the pay stub. If they're 1099, like they're working for you, how they get around it is they're living with other people. And so someone else has a lease and then they're like, hey, I'll give you $500 a month.
Right.
But as soon as they need to move out, as a landlord, I will never take 1099. Someone can't work for you if you're paying them under the table and also get into a lease, get a car payment, do a lot of things that they need to do as their life like continues. And so if you want short-term employees, treat them with short-term behavior, like trying to cut out payroll taxes. So yes, in the short term, you will make more money if you pay 1099. They will too. But in the long term, they won't be able to work for you. And you will eventually have someone knocking on your door asking for their payroll taxes for the past 5 years. So like, think more long term. Hard to do when you're 18, 19 though, I get it. That's the kind of thing that like, it's hard to sometimes pin down because like, I'm going to get another job. And they're like, why? You're making like same if not less.
Right.
And it's because of stuff like that.
Yeah, because they can't move out.
It just becomes a, why are people leaving? And we need to know why. Have you been firing people or they just been leaving?
Both. Some
Really?
people leave. I have had to fire some guys just because weren't a good fit.
And then for the people that left that were good workers,
Yeah.
do you know why they left? Do they give any inclination?
I talked to some of them. A lot of them were just like, I got another job. I don't know what it was. It's been really hard for me to keep people. As we grow, we're gonna need to grow our team. And if they're leaving and coming at the same rate, like we're not gonna grow, right? And so that's definitely been a struggle that we're working with, is just kind of keeping guys on for a while.
You can do base and just lower the commission. Increase the base to say 17 or 18.
And then lower the commission so they're making around the same amount. Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah,
And then just go over with the
make it more
guys.
consistent,
Like, hey
yeah.
guys, I want to increase your base so there's no fear of you ever making less than 17 to 18 bucks an hour.
Yeah.
Great. By doing that, we're gonna bring the commission down. What do you think is fair? When it comes to P for P, or pay for performance, where the harder someone works, the more money they make, I'm a big fan, and I'm super happy that he's already doing commissions. However, P for P needs to have a balance of two things for the employee. They need to have the security of base pay, and they need to have the upside of being able to work, hustle, and make more money. Right now, it seems like, according to what Kai is saying, that people are making good money, 30 bucks an hour. However, the downside risk to them not getting work this week or potentially having a job that goes bad is too high. So by increasing that base pay, we're increasing the security of the employee and thereby allowing them to stay with the business longer. And then by switching to W-2, it just solidifies the validity of the business to them too. And when I'm getting a pay stub, I have to see how much is going out for my wages, how much is going out for payroll tax, how much for the year is all there, versus just like, hey, here's Venmo, here's a cash, here's a check.
Yeah.
Different feeling as an employee. Although it might save money for the employee in the short run, although it might save the business money in the short run by saving on payroll taxes, in the long run, the business will eventually get fined, they will be caught, and it will not be worth it. Also in the long run, the employee will need W-2 income to be able to get a loan, to be able to go out and get a lease at an apartment, to be able to car payment. These are things that are required to be able to prove income. And if they don't have that, eventually they've got to move on. So talk with Crew/Max about W-2/base. Now, the last step of the 4L framework is leadership. And right now, Kai is thinking that because he is younger, he's having a hard time holding on to people. And this is affecting the way he shows up as a leader. When in reality, if we can change certain aspects of the business, like giving people W-2 income, legitimatizing the business by having QuickBooks and a profit and loss statement and a balance sheet, he'll get a lot more confidence as a leader to be able to attract great talent and keep them in the long term. From a leadership perspective, what is something that you're kind of working on right now just to be able to manage the crew better, the team, etc.? I know you're working on like the SOPs and the stand, like, that's really good.
Being with them more, because in the past, like there would be some days where I had to take calls in the morning, like I wouldn't meet him in the morning, like I would put that over it. But like every day I'm meeting him here in the morning, like we're having a quick little team meeting, like we chop it up, we get all the stuff, and then a couple times throughout the week, I'll meet them at the jobs. Just that way they're seeing my face, I guess, a bit more. And I think that's helped out a lot. It's also helped me like see some things that we're doing wrong. Since I'm so young, like I feel like I need to do more to kind of prove, I guess, that I can be a leader. And so that's a really big thing, like showing up in the mornings, meeting the guys out at the job, and I guess just doing what I have to do. After I've got these crews set up and efficient, whether it's splitting up and doing one-man crews or whatever, the next thing that I'm gonna need to move into is like getting office staff, getting someone to like take the calls and do the scheduling. The phones have just been ringing so much, like I don't have time to do anything else.
Right. Of your estimates, how many are in person versus just over the phone?
I'd like to do in person if I can, but I just don't have the time.
Got it.
So
Okay.
I do them all over the phone.
So what if the goal was we get the second truck, assuming we're having these leads still coming in and we're pumping these out, could you essentially get to 500,000-600,000, be full-time doing sales and admin, like
Yeah.
throughout the day doing the phone, throughout the day going and visiting customers? Could that be the goal this year, you think?
Without office,
I'm trying to avoid that as long as possible.
500. I think the biggest thing right now is I need to see what it looks like when the guys are working in one-man crews and how efficient we can get that. Because if they can do that, then I think I could. But if it gets to the point where they're not really that efficient and I need to bring someone else on, then scheduling gets harder and I might need to bring someone on.
See, this is what I'd be looking at, for example, like last year, what percentage of revenue went to wages? That'd be like a number, if you have a P&L, you can look at really easily. Because
Right.
that would really help with like knowing like what can we actually pay in commissions. Because if someone's not working fast in a commission-based job, they're just not money motivated. In a commission-based job like this one, and like for us with P4P, I just want them to want to make a lot of money. The benchmark of a good team member is like they want to make lots of money.
Yeah.
Because if they want to make lots of money, they will figure out how to work faster.
Yeah.
They'll figure out how to be more efficient. They'll figure out how to train themselves, etc.
Yeah.
The thing is like by cutting out the services, all this other stuff, your training meetings stop becoming about like how to seal a driveway and more a matter of like how do you upsell? How do you sell another customers walking by?
Right.
i.e., how do you make more money? Them learning how to do sealing doesn't make them any more money.
Yeah.
Them learning to do other service doesn't make them any more money. The daily training becomes like how to do an upsell. You start handing out cash bonuses for the upsells or the one-off things. Like so there's a certain amount of money you can give away in cash per
Yeah.
year and it's okay. You claim on the taxes and I just pay the taxes. I pay it on cash, I do not care about the taxes. I want daily meetings to be like, you get $50 and you get $100 and you get
Yeah.
$25 for a review, for an upsell, for a new customer. Like I just want that constant, that's what the meeting is actually for.
Gotcha.
Right? Obviously you gotta go for safety stuff or you gotta go for new, but if I can reduce my services, I don't have to talk about it a lot.
Right.
Like we used to do excavation and putting greens and retaining walls and like dump trucks and tree chippers. Like, forget that. I don't have to be doing safety meetings with the stinking tree chipper every single year.
Yeah.
I'd rather just train them on how to upsell customers. Because they make an extra $50 on a $20 mow, they can make $50.
Yeah.
As a leader, Kai can now focus on being able to train his team on sales, how to upsell, how to cross-sell, how to get a customer from a one-time job into a recurring package. This is now what the team meeting should be all about. Instead of safety meetings about chemicals because we're doing this service, and then ladders because we're doing this service, and a different type of method of spraying for this service. Hands-on, and then like sales, I'm gonna call it sales training, but really this is a function of by focusing on Windows, we spend more of our time with the team on them making more money. And that's how we get over the whole fact that like W2 is gonna cost them more.
Yeah.
There's gonna be a little more coming out of their paycheck,
making-
but then we're gonna train them like every day is like, how do you upsell someone into a contract? How do you get new customers walking by to sign up?
Yeah.
How do you get someone to go from a one-time job into recurring? How do you sell that before you even get the job started? Like, you just pound that.
Yeah.
By simplifying services, you allow yourself to be able to focus more of your time, energy, and attention on making your team into salespeople instead of just technicians. These are the type of skills that you can afford to pay people more, and they'll make more on pay for performance. The thing I put in the 6-week plan is first in, last out. My objective for you would be like, if we can get to 500,000 without having an office staff, you'll be profitable. As soon as you get an office staff, I start to get very concerned about you spending time training them. You're gonna have to churn there too. You're gonna have to train them on answering the phone and doing pricing over the phone and all the things that you're currently doing.
Yeah.
If we can push that off one more year, I think we can really grow. But to do that, what we do is like, you're the first one here every morning, you get them out, and then you're the last one out every day.
Okay.
But that gap in between is you out doing sales appointments, it's answering the phone. You literally spend $1,000 on decking out whatever your sales vehicle is with like a laptop, a situation, like everything.
Yeah.
You know, headset, you do
yeah.
the whole 9 yards. But like your goal is I'm out doing sales or I'm on the phone doing admin and doing sales on the phone.
Okay.
I don't think this is the time that he needs an office or an admin staff. At $250,000, $300,000 in annual revenue, having an admin person full-time as overhead is gonna sink the business from a profitability perspective. He's gotta figure out a way to be efficient, be in the truck doing sales throughout the day, but be at the shop with the crew at the morning and in the evening. And everything in between is admin and sales. 5 things we want to do in the next 6 weeks. Number 1, we went 20 grand in the bank. That was like help with peace of mind. You can live on very little and you can put it all back in. But now going forward, like on our contracts, we should just assume always there's one service inside. It's not an optional thing. You tell them
in
what.
the winter this happens. Like
Yeah.
this is our service.
Exactly.
I like that a lot actually.
Yeah. Second truck, that's the goal in the next 6 weeks. The only way that really happens if we continue to scale the Facebook side of things and get tons of leads.
Yeah.
So the next 6 weeks are gonna be a grind because you're gonna be in that in-between zone. But also like as soon as you got a truck right now, you'd immediately have some efficiency gains. I think we just dump onto window washing. We focus on recurring so you can sell the business. That will increase the valuation. I would do my very best to not need an admin this year.
Okay.
2 trucks, you out doing sales full time. You're first in here, getting the crew going in the morning.
Yeah.
You're the last one at the end of the day. Sometimes that means, by the way, because like jobs will go longer when you have 2 trucks and like they don't always show up at the
Yeah.
same time. You could even schedule a couple hours in the middle of the day where you do appointments so that I can be here at the end of the day for the crew.
Yeah.
Because if they're working 4 10s, that means that there are going to be times where you're working 6 10s or you're working 6 12s.
Yeah.
You're 19. Let's do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? So I would be first in, first out. You can have your workstation inside your vehicle. I would also think about spending the money required to make it as efficient as possible. Like you can get the whole like panel that screws in underneath your seat
Yeah.
and actually is like a sturdy station
Yeah.
that pulls out. I'd put a laptop on, a Chromebook, do a hotspot, do Starlink, do whatever you need to make that thing like super efficient so you can be here when the crew gets here every day. The wrap is going to be worth it 100%.
Yeah.
Mostly because when
For
you're
my
sitting
company,
at someone's house, all their neighbors see it and they're seeing you out on doing it's what you need. So I think the $3 grand, $4 grand, it's worth it. You have plenty of capital to be able to like as a backstop. Like the question is it worth tapping into your personal reserve by $15,000 in order to double the business this year? I think so.
Yeah.
I think we need to professionalize the finances of the business.
Yeah.
QuickBooks, probably need to have someone do your tax return at the end of this year. Do it correctly.
Yeah.
Like, do you have an accountant right now?
I do, yeah.
Okay, perfect. I know in the short term it's painful, but there's the same thing with the guys out in the field. They won't like it at the beginning, but from a retention perspective, you'll keep people around longer.
Yeah.
Because when they have life events, they can actually get a credit card. They can actually
Yep.
get a rent. They can actually get a car payment. And so it's important for them.
Okay.
So I know it's a tough one to, and everyone on social media tells about 1099 stuff, and then you just see where they're at in 5 years.
Yeah.
And many times
It's
they
more
have,
professional, 100%.
it's better for the employee. If it's just like from an employee perspective, I just know that every 2 weeks I get my little email, I click on there, I can see all my paycheck, where it's going.
Yeah.
Everything feels just like, oh, this is a legit business.
Yeah.
Not like, oh, you want to get paid today? Yeah, here's some Venmo. Like,
Right.
here's a Cash App. Like, it's just not professional.
Yeah.
And then I have on here, obviously, talking with Max about the W2 base stuff. I think you're gonna crush it no matter what.
I appreciate it.
Like mostly because like the fact that last year really was your first year to 250.
Yeah.
And then like this year you already have so much momentum. You have the 100 reviews on Google. Like that alone
Just
helps
hit
you a
that,
lot.
which is really cool.
Super cool. So I think a few little tweaks on the acquisition side and then the labor side, you're set up.
Cool.
The key point in all of this is that Kai wants to sell the business in 5 years. He got into the industry because of social media. He's gonna grow, learn a ton of skills, and then move on to something else. And if that's your ambition, then build the business as if you're going to sell it. Adding more one-time jobs will increase his revenue very quickly. But if the goal is to sell, we want that revenue to be of a higher standard and quality, which is recurring instead of one-time jobs. Good job, dude. 19.
Thank you. I appreciate
Let's
it.
go. And don't worry about the age thing. If
Yeah.
you don't worry about it, they won't worry about it.
Yeah.